single dad got a wrong call at 2 a.m. He showed up anyway, and the heiress asked him to stay forever. The phone rang at 2:04 a.m., piercing the silence of the small two-bedroom apartment on the edge of town. Ethan Hayes blinked awake, groggy and disoriented. He reached for the buzzing phone on his nightstand, careful not to wake his 7-year-old daughter, Lily, curled beside him after a nightmare earlier that evening. "Hello?" His voice was gravelly, thick with sleep. A pause. Then a frantic voice. "Is this the car service? I need help. I don't feel safe." He almost hung up. Almost. But something in the woman's voice, a mix of fear and fragility, stopped him. "No, you've got the wrong number," he said, hesitating. "Are you okay?" She sniffled. "I don't know. I called the car service my father used to use. He's gone now. The driver never came. I'm at the old place, the Carrington estate. Can you just forget it? I'm sorry." Before he could ask more, the call ended. Ethan stared at the screen, thumb hovering over the redial button. Rationality told him to go back to sleep. He was a single dad, barely scraping by driving part-time for a rideshare app and doing construction gigs. The last thing he needed was to get mixed up in someone else's mess. But something else, the part of him that still remembered the night his wife died, the kindness of the stranger who had sat with him at the hospital until dawn, wouldn't let it go. He got up, tucked Lily under the blanket, left a note for the babysitter next door, and drove through the misty darkness toward the wealthiest part of town. The Carrington estate was legendary, a sprawling, ivy-wrapped mansion perched on a hill, shuttered for years after the death of Harold Carrington, a real estate tycoon. Locals called it the sleeping giant. Ethan expected security gates, cameras, something. Instead, he found an open gate and a single light glowing from the grand entrance. He knocked. The door creaked open, revealing a barefoot woman in a silk robe that looked expensive and unkempt at the same time. Her eyes were red-rimmed, but sharp. A glass of untouched wine sat on a table behind her, and Mozart played softly in the background. "You came?" she said, astonished. "I'm not your driver." "You called the wrong number," Ethan said, rubbing the back of his neck. "But I heard you. So I came anyway." She blinked, then laughed, a brittle, tired sound. "Of course you did. That's something my father would have done. Please come in. I don't want to be alone tonight." Against his better judgment, he stepped inside. Her name was Clara Carrington, sole heiress to the Carrington fortune, recently returned from abroad to settle her late father's estate. Ethan quickly realized she wasn't drunk, just lost. Her world, filled with high society, luxury, and privilege, had offered her everything but peace. They sat in the grand sunroom, wrapped in silence and story. She talked about her father, a man of contradictions, brilliant, controlling, impossibly cold. She shared how, after his death, the people around her vanished, each with their hand out or their motives revealed. She'd called the number from a decade-old card, hoping the old driver might still come. Instead, she got Ethan. And he listened. No agenda. No judgment. Just a man in a worn jacket who knew what it felt like to lose something irreplaceable. Then came the twist. A crash upstairs shattered the calm. Ethan sprang up. Clara froze. "I thought the house was empty," she whispered. Without hesitation, Ethan bolted toward the sound. Upstairs, he found a young man, clearly on something, rummaging through drawers in what looked like a study. The guy panicked and lunged. They struggled, crashing into furniture. Ethan managed to subdue him until police arrived. Clara had called them during the chaos. Later, when the intruder was arrested, an old employee's son, looking to steal from the poor little rich girl, Clara sat shaking on the stairs, and Ethan wrapped a blanket around her shoulders. "Why did you stay?" she asked quietly. "Because you needed someone to." Weeks passed. Clara reached out again. Once, then twice. Then regularly. Ethan started visiting the estate after his work shifts. Sometimes with Lily, who took to Clara instantly. They'd bake together, explore the overgrown gardens, and watch old movies on the estate's private projector. Something bloomed, slowly and unexpectedly, not romance at first, but understanding. He didn't see her as a broken heiress. She didn't see him as a struggling single dad. They saw each other. And one evening, as fireflies lit the sky and Lily giggled in the distance chasing her reflection on the pond, Clara turned to Ethan and said, "You came because of a wrong call. But it felt like the right moment. What if it was never wrong at all?" He smiled. "I've been thinking the same thing." She took his hand. "Then stay. Not just tonight. For good. Both of you." And he did. Not for the mansion, or the money, he never touched a cent. But for the warmth that had taken root in a place long frozen by grief. Sometimes, the wrong number is just the universe dialing you into where you were always meant to be. And sometimes, kindness at 2 a.m. can rewrite the story of a lifetime. The end.